Hi everyone, today we're going to make a loaf of bread. It is a carnivore flour meat bread. I'm Anita from KetogenicWoman.com, where I share keto and carnivore recipes and other cooking ideas that have helped me to lose over 135 pounds. If you are new here, welcome. I hope you check out some of my other videos. And for those of you returning viewers, welcome back. I hope you like today's video. Okay, so today I'm going to make a meat bread that's kind of been going viral on TikTok. Apparently, I don't do TikTok, but I hear it's going viral on TikTok. Certainly on Facebook, I've seen it a lot. Instagram, all those things. It was brought to my attention by my friend Cindy, Critter 400 or 4,000. Now I can't remember which number. But anyways, she brought it to my attention, and the Keto Twins did a review on the bread, and they said that they found it via Courtney Luna. So I'm going to link all that below. That bread was made with pork rinds, and you know, from my pork rind waffles and my pork rind carnivore noodles that really got a lot of attention on YouTube, I had so many commenters saying I need an alternative to pork rinds. And so Carnivore Crisp sent me their flour. So I have been playing with the flour, and I'll show you these two loaves that I made yesterday. Okay, so I made two mini loaves, so half a recipe each. Today we're gonna make a big loaf. So I don't know if you can see there's a difference here between the two loaves. This loaf here was made with the pork rinds. So it's exactly as they made it on the Keto Twins channel. And this loaf I made with beef flour. And so you can see, you know, this one is lighter in color and it's just a little bit smaller. They were both made in identical pans, identical ingredients, everything except the difference between the pork rinds and the flour. So both were good. I, you know, tested them both out. I love the little size of this. I made little toasties, and I like mine with very super crisp in my air fryer, thin slices, sardines on top.
Oh yes.
Okay, but you do you. So I'm going to put that away. We are going to make this one the beef loaf. Now I did make a chicken loaf too the other day, and I really love the meatier flavor of the beef loaf. So that's what I'm going to make today. So what is in this? In this recipe that we're doing today, there are 6 large eggs, a little bit of Redmond's. Now the original recipe does not call for any salt because pork rinds are actually quite salty. But I found that putting a couple of pinches of salt was good. I'm going to use I'm going to use a combination of the beef organ blend. It's a good way to get liver in without eating liver, for those of you that like that. And this one is their grass-fed beef flour. So on the beef flour, it's just grass-fed beef and Redmond's real salt. And on the organ blend, it's grass-fed beef, grass-fed heart, grass-fed liver, grass-fed kidney, Redmond's real salt. And all of those come from beef. So if you're doing triple B and E, this is an awesome recipe to use. And this is Redmond's salt as well. So I have already cooked 1 pound of ground beef. I just fried it in a pan and, you know, drained off the excess fat and juices, and this is the yield from 1 pound ground beef. So that is going into the recipe as well. Yeah, so I'm going to be making mine in the blender. I have a little mini food processor, and the other videos that I have seen, this was made in a food processor. And in fact, those little tiny loaves, I made them in my mini food processor because each recipe fit in there exactly, but I was only doing half a recipe. So I'm going to use my big blender for the full loaf of bread recipe. Okay, so, I'm just going to put the ingredients in. So let's start with meat. I'm going to try to get that in there without dumping it everywhere. There we go. Oops. One got away. There we go. Okay, I'm going to put 6 eggs in here. I am going to measure out the flour. So I know a lot of people do like to cook with weights, and so I've been using approximately, like for the waffles, I've made, the mini loaves, I made some muffins. I made some muffin top pan, in the muffin top pan, I made some big round bread-like things. I'm going to show a picture up there. I have a picture so you can see what I'm talking about. Those are the perfect muffin size for if you want to put an egg on top. But I've made all the things that I've made so far. I use approximately 1 tablespoon per egg in whatever recipe I'm converting. It's worked out pretty good. So I've got 6 eggs in there. I'm going to use 6 tablespoons. And I'm going to measure that out to see approximately what it weighs. And I haven't been overly exact. I don't think it really is that critical, leveling your tablespoon and all that. I've been loosey-goosey with it, in other words. So there's 3 tablespoons. It's 0.7 ounces, 21 grams. We've got our 6 tablespoons of flour in total. And it's I've got 1.6 ounces here, 44 grams. So, give or take a gram or 2, it matters not, I don't think. 1 teaspoon of baking soda goes in here. Actually, I'm going to just dump that in now. And, pinch of salt. It's the only thing I haven't added yet. I'm going to add 2 pinches. Now, of course, you can add, other things. The bread, I find, when you use the beef and the beef flour, it comes out like this, looking like this rye bread that my dad used to love. It was a heavy, small, compact, dense loaf. You could you could protect yourself from intruders with that loaf. It was so heavy and dense. So I would, think maybe adding things like caraway seeds if you're not too sensitive to oxalates, because I know those have them in there. Or maybe you can go, the Italian seasoning route, garlic, whatever you like to add. So far I've just been doing the salt, and I'm going to give this a blend, and then we're going to put it in the loaf pan. Okay. Let's see what high looks like. Okay, that looks pretty good. Just going to grab a spatula. The oven is set to 400. Yeah, that looks really smooth. Okay. So what I have here is this is, it's like a metal pan, and I've lined it with just this much parchment paper. You don't have to cover the whole thing, just 2 sides are enough so you can lift out the loaf later. I found this worked well when I made my loaf in here before. And so now it's just a matter of getting it in there. Now you will find if you have made the pork rind version, you'll find that the batter is just slightly thinner than the pork rind batter. I really had to scoop out the pork rind batter out of here. Maybe it'll even pour nicely for me today. I'm just going to spread this around a bit. This pan, by the way, is measured from the bottom. It's about 3.5 by 7 inches. I really like this pan, actually. It seems to bake loaves nicely. So I will definitely link it below. It's a Jamie Oliver pan, for those of you who are fans. This blender's a bit heavy. It's probably a good thing that I've started working out. I can feel that in my triceps. Now, it looks like it's low in there, and it is, but it does actually rise. Not a whole lot. It's not like when you're making those egg white breads that go this high. Okay, I am going to put this in the oven. It is almost ready. And so it goes in 400 for about 30 minutes. So I found that to be pretty reliable. I've got the rack lifted up a little bit, like in the almost in the middle of the oven. So I'm going to go put it in there, and we'll see you back here in about half an hour when it's ready. Okay, so this baked in the oven for 30 minutes. Then I took it out, and I've just been letting it sit. It's sat here for probably 20-30 minutes to cool. So this is why I do that parchment. It lifts out so nice. And let's see what we have here. Well, so far so good. I am going to take a slice. It's just barely warm to the touch. I mean, it's, you know, just a little bit. Oh, look at that. Yes. So I like to slice mine fairly thin, and because I like it toasted, but I mean, you can certainly eat it just like this, and I am going to try it just like this with a, you know, just a slice. But there's something about when it's toasted, it reminds me so much of the what did we call it? Butcher broat or something like that. My dad used to eat bread that looked just like this. It doesn't quite taste the same, but what it doesn't taste like is meatloaf. I know a lot of people are going to ask that. Well, it's just meat and eggs, and you know, it's just going to be meatloaf, but it isn't. It really isn't. So let me just butter a piece and give it a try. I like that. It's possible. I've just been so many years without bread that this tastes like bread to me. But honest to goodness, it tastes like bread to me. Has a bread-like texture. It's deep and flavorful. I like the crust. It has a bit of a chew to it. I mean, I really like this. Now, I've tried a lot of meat breads, like a lot of them. And this one is, in all these years, this is my favorite bread that is made from predominantly meat. So what I want to do is take a thicker slice and just show it, just do a close-up on the camera so you can see the texture of it. I mean, it's dense, but it's got, there's something about it that is very bread-like. And like I said, I've probably been having 2 or 3 or 4 slices every day. It's going to be high in protein because we've got a pound of hamburger in here. We have 6 eggs, and we have the meat flour, which is, so 21 grams, which is, if I remember when I was measuring it, I think 2 tablespoons or 3 tablespoons was about 21 grams. That has where's the protein on here? 9 grams of protein. So this is like packed with protein, this bread. So I'm pretty happy with it, and I will continue making it and using it for my toasted sardine cracker toast. It's almost, if you, those little small ones, if you slice it thin and put it in your air fryer for 5 minutes at 400, it's almost cracker-like. You know, it reminds me of those like rye crisps or something that we all used to eat back in the 70s when we were on a diet. So I hope that you give this a try. I'm going to have the links below to the Keto Twins review of the bread. I mean, they did the one with pork rinds. This one's a little different. Link to Carnivore, or not Carnivore, Luna, Courtney Luna. I believe that this recipe came from her, you know, as far as I know. If that's not true, somebody tell me. I'm going to link to the Carnivore Crisp meat flour because that's what I use today. I know I've heard of some people who are making their own. Great. You know, these days I don't have time for that, but, you know, that's just me. So all the links will be below. And I do want to also say that this may be the last recipe video until May, because I'm going on a 2-week road trip next week, going to KetoCon. So by car from Vancouver. It's going to take me out for a bit. So, you know, make some bread while I'm gone and enjoy it, and let me know how you like it. So yeah, we'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching today.